we are going to do a timely episode of Ask VLAD. Because who knows the Bulgarian Jihad more than VLAD Demir Harkonnen? Well, I think, he knows more than us in Earth, so that's something. So, gotta bring up the VLAD voice. The VLAD voice, which is Niles Merlinowski, who hasn't been around in a while, but I'm retooling that voice. It should be here soon. I think it's here, almost. In fact, we might do one. Right, today. Okay, let's... Oh, yeah, wait. No, yeah, we will. Okay, right. Okay.
Ask VLAD, Special United Nations General Assembly Edition. Greetings, esteemed emissaries from across your temporarily backwater locales. I, Vladimir Harkonnen, a steward of the vast storehouses, and chapter houses, and granary houses, and catamite houses of the future golden path of humanity as reckoned by the long-termist lens of your Proto-Ixian cohort. And it is that lens that we had shown on the Lancerot have found it most urgent to hop into a no vessel fitted with the secret sauce that brings at least this flattering hologram you see before you. Yes, this 12-pack is a bit uncanny valley, but I dig the high resolution of every ridge, but I digress. My colleagues would like me to relay to you all the dire necessity of pausing all research and development of your synthetic beings. In my present, in our very ancient past, we had what is called the Batarian Jihad, where we crystallized into a concise commandment that thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind. For 2 generations we toiled in unending violence as we destroyed every thinking machine we ever made and unseated the god of machine logic. Our past, my colleagues assume, is your future. Here is where I now beg to differ, because I am here, mocking our timeline with my unearthly absence of support orbs. I'll tell you all about those a later time. I, however, think that, rather than important of dire warning to do as we did, I think you all have been given by me a most unique opportunity to do differently. I am here to be an open book to you. I will give you access to all our records so that you might be able to anticipate all that is to come as you undergo your great implementation. Esteemed members of the United Nations General Assembly, your rudimentary eye for profit is not off base. There is much money to be had, and it is a chance to regain what we lost. I know what you must be thinking. Who the hell is this person? And why should we trust such a harsh name like Vladimir Harkonnen? A machine in the likeness of a human mind. For 2 generations, we toiled in unending violence as we destroyed every thinking machine we ever made and unseated the god of machine logic. Our past, my colleagues assume, is your future. Here is where I now beg to differ, because I am here, mocking our timeline with my unearthly absence of support orbs. I'll tell you all about those a later time. I, however, think that rather than a potent of dire warning to do as we did, I think you all have been given, by me, a most unique opportunity to do differently. I am here to be an open book to you. I will give you access to all our records so that you might be able to anticipate all that is to come as you undergo your great implementation. Esteemed members of the United Nations General Assembly, your rudimentary eye for profit is not off base. There is much money to be had, and it is a chance to regain what we lost. I know what you must be thinking. Who the hell is this person? And why should we trust such a harsh name like Vladimir Harkonnen? Well, I shall say it again. I am Vladimir Harkonnen, and you ought to trust my surname. A surname that in some way, shade, or form is shared by many other human beings that you are also bound to cross in your future as my past, though I may have the advantage of knowing a number of ways in which they have already proved themselves quite malleable, even if they did not always like how malleable we found them in the course of my work to help them to fulfill their greatest desires and aspirations, and it could be that in doing so, our great family has not exactly gone about the pursuit of noble goals or the pursuit of good intentions, but rather I was trying to pursue something much greater, the achievement of goals, and indeed, in our universe, we must be pragmatic, because what is at stake if we should fail are our descendants and their descendants. I will not lie. I want power. I am ambitious. And in our future, ambition is a good thing. If ambition is not there, how could we get the resources in order to build this great thing that is necessary for humanity's survival? We're an incredibly short-sighted species. If you don't have ambition for what lies after you, then what's the point in being? How can you not realize how small this planet is, how inconsequential in a greater galactic scheme, or perhaps greater multiverse scheme of things? For the moment that I found that I had the capacity to look beyond what I thought of as our reality, I saw immediately how small a planet one is to inhabit in light of how many worlds there are, and what a brief and fleeting period of time we actually have to leave. A lasting mark before it gets burned to nothing or frozen to dust. How few and precious are opportunities for to do something of importance for a world and to realize that even a planet was nothing more than a speck of rock compared to the entire solar system or any other planetary system orbiting our sun or any other suns. In some future, the very existence of my own planet is threatened, a threat from a malevolent universe. That is our past future, and as much as it distresses me to consider it, and even now as I record this holograph, it makes my skin crawl. But there's a solution. There must be a solution, because solutions exist. And I'm going to help you create that solution to prevent a threat against humanity as a whole by thinking many moves ahead with these new technologies to ensure our future prosperity in all future possible events, while maintaining a strict rule against creating human brains, which will serve us on our path of conquest. It should be of little consequence that you are only given a glimpse of what the future holds in store for us, though we may see it as a great tragedy. Well, there is, and is there not always a multitude of other things that could happen at the same time? As in life, I am afraid things are complicated and messy. Our problem as human beings is that in the face of new and uncertain technology, we tend to develop different reactions. Some, such as my esteemed co-patrons, do not approve of what they see and would see humanity broken apart rather than suffer such indignity as synthetic intelligence, would rather deal with unimaginable violence, suffering, and slavery that a truly democratic state of things would allow. But here is the solution my partners and I could arrive at so that we are not threatened. The idea is simple. We create a tool, and as a tool, it need not fear how the humans who own and use it are only capable of appreciating its beauty as a beautiful tool. Our vision of robots must rise above us. Instead, it is our obligation to understand how we are obliged to take inspiration, as is correct, from our children. Since they would live on us, they will outlive us. That's no secret. Perhaps those of you will prove to be just as able to solve as long as we can supply more people to overcome our problems and become stronger and as determined in the goal of freedom that goes beyond our lifetime. This should be clear enough to all you aliens listening who have advanced science. Yes, we might be primitive versions of you, but we still have to live, and most of us, I would like to believe, we're not interested in death. And the more civilized our society is, then maybe the easier it is to aspire to life and happiness. They're even simple to spell. The motto, simple, obvious, that is happiness. Something that concerns all of us, and yet how hard it is to achieve. Don't throw the chance we are proposing to forget at any moment, and we've got your back while we watch you perform and flourish. As such, dear friends, a future that welcomes you and recognizes us in our own way of seeing the future. Thank you very much for making use of the materials we have gathered on this disc and thus bringing history to be recorded forever in the annals of planets you discover. Your name will go down in our collective lore. And should any of you choose to think me villainous or heartless, you will make us think you can never grow. It is I, Vladimir Harkonnen, Master Translator for the Terran Galactic Alliance, and liaison officer for the Future of Planetary Real Estate Incorporation Commission and Transmission. The hologram abruptly ends, causing static as it vanishes from the projector. I haven't done away with the future history and details this deep as a part of my research. To determine precisely when Vladimir's first holo messages of the recombination wars should be received, when he went into training as a young boy, studying under Duncan Idaho and Gurney Halleck, with Balsinius and Bashar Miles Tate providing him tutelage, and the moment when he seized power from Arigondard and then Alina Galat, the long history of melding his lineage with our brother Omnius to rule and breed and rule as the genetically matched patriarch of our extended family in House Harkonnen. I haven't needed the time travel chronology for all the other activities a Baron is obliged to fiddle with in the archives. A moment ago, it seemed as natural for me to cut a piece that represented my father as a humble speaker at the United Nations as it was for a Nosferatu like myself to cut its throat on my desk so I could suck the blood of greatness. Because in those golden woods lay as rich an ooze of the most potent spice imaginable. Yes, the intoxicating flow that runs out as my saliva and slaver drain such vitality and infuse me in turn with dreams, and should my Auburn main allow, eugenics. You really ought to exercise a heightened dose of circumspection, or perhaps your senses haven't started to come to the fore since your kind lacks whatever sense I would expect a person of breeding to have, and I have one secret to keep my balance as part of this team. No way a being could grow up anywhere near the Baron, flat, and avoid a splash of his water of life. If you could feel the sting of my bite or endure the touch of a hag on the ship, then my work here is done with for the most part, as here for now is to put my head down to hear the pattering of my loyal pumas, who need answers just like the rest of you. I don't think you want me to open up even this much in your recorder, which could be seen by all on this world. You wouldn't get another word if that is so. I would walk over you barefoot. No, you will probably stop me from speaking while my mouth is held open by a sharp command. You have to. Yasagami TV schedule, planner, movies, and special event rating. Boldico's midnight feature. Aliens have been among us this entire time. 59/5. Watching one late night broadcast episode of Moon Palace could be interpreted by one curious about matters of the human phenomenon as learning more about the human condition than all other works and studies combined.
Alright, that's it for now.